Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It's Dr. Jan Fortman with Relationship Matters TV. I hope everyone is having a beautiful morning, afternoon, or evening. We are here in Chicago or surrounding suburbs, and let's see, what is the temperature? I think, it was on here, but I don't see it anymore. But anyway, it's cold. So last week, I was driving around in my convertible with the top down, sunglasses on, and having a good time. And today I had on my boots and my down coat. And then next week, they say it's supposed to be in the upper 50s. But then that's Chicago, like they say, always keep a coat or a jacket or whatever in your car, even in summertime. So I'm hoping everyone is enjoying themselves. We're very, very close to the holiday and to Thanksgiving for some who are here in the States. I know there are some of you who are in Europe and wherever, in Africa even. But we are getting ready for what we call Turkey Day. Well, this evening, because it is evening here in Chicago, I have a guest that I've been knowing for a while. I met her at it used to be the National Association of Professional Women, but now it's called something else. We're going to talk about that later. And I wanted to have her on my show because what she does is something that we all need to know about. So, who is this wonderful lady? Let me tell you who she is. Her name is Helen Morgan. And Helen is the founder and owner of Resource 55 at America's finest real estate. She is a successful real estate broker with over 30 plus years of experience, and she specializes in serving clients 55 and plus. I'm one of those. I'm 55 and plus, 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 plus. And she's a certified senior housing professional with expertise and compassion for her unique clients. And her clients are people who lived in their homes for, maybe over 30 years. And you know how it is if you've been living in your home for a little while. You got all these attachments, you got all these memories, you got a lot of treasures, you got a lot of stuff. And what Helen does, when it comes time to make those big decisions, her services will help guide you through the entire transition. And she's also the president of the Orland Park chapter of International Association of Women. And she's been the president since 2013. And I think that's when I met her. But anyway, Helen is passionate about helping others achieve their dreams, from buying or selling a home, launching or growing a successful business, and fighting for the rights of the physically challenged. Helen is here to make a difference, and we are going to meet Helen as soon as I bring her in from the green room. I hope she's had some nice refreshments back there. Hi, Helen.
Oh, hello. Hello, Dr. Jan. How are you?
I am great, Helen. How are you?
Thank you for the wonderful introduction. I mean, when you hear someone else say it, it's like, really? That's me?
Is
I'm
that
kind of
me?
surprised, right?
When did I meet you? I,
In 2013?
that's when
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, when
okay,
I first started, actually, I think I met you before I actually launched the Orland Park chapter.
right. Were we in the Chicago chapter
Yes,
together first? Right. So I
yes,
met you before 2013.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
Okay, and you impressed me then, and you're still impressing me now. So we have someone that says, "Good evening, ladies." So, good evening.
Yes, good evening. Good evening.
So, Helen, I'm going to jump right into our conversation because I really want people to know just who you are and what you do. So, you work primarily with seniors. So, what motivated you to start working with us old folks? I
Well,
can
you
use the old word, but I don't let anybody else use it when they talk about me.
exactly. No one else uses it, and I don't use it either. And I'm right there with you, Dr. Jan. So this is uh, this is our people, right? These are our people. Um, this is, I'm glad that you asked me this question because I think that everything that I do and everything we will discuss after this will be completely clear. I want to say it was about 2014, I had four clients throughout that year, all sons that had asked me, they needed to move mom. And a couple of them were crisis situations where, they were living out of state. They needed to move mom. They needed to get her to a safe place. She was living in the family home, with stairs, with all the things that come along with the home that you may have had raising your children. And, still there because many of my clients are in their homes for 30, 40, 50 years. So it's a long time. And of course, being a realtor for at that point for over 25 years at that point, of course I could sell the home, but there was so much more that needed to be done. These were situations where they needed to for me to be able to help, or they needed for me to provide them a source or resource to be able to help them get mom moved safely into, let's say, a senior living, an assisted living, or a smaller condo, whatever the situation might be, with a house full of possessions. So it was odd that there were four sons. It's usually daughters, right, that are dealing with this, but in this case, it was 1 year, all sons, and I was able to help them. But let me tell you, the struggles that we both were experiencing, along with the overwhelmed feeling of being able to get this done and getting mom moved safely. The house could wait, it could happen later, but I needed to help them with what they needed to be immediately. And just needless to say, most real estate brokers were not trained for that, at all. And so that is what led me to the journey of trying to find a way to make this much easier, because after those four sons that year, I realized there was such a need, and I had to find a way to be able to help them without them being so overwhelmed, so that they could spend time with their loved ones and not be dealing with all of the other things that come along with a crisis situation like that.
Well, did you have to have special training?
Well, at that time, I did not have special training, so I was scrambling to find the resources. Um, and, that made me realize I needed special training. I needed to find a way to make this whole process much easier. And so I researched and I was on a quest. There was no stopping me. It was like I was just on autopilot with, there was, I'm going to find a way. I'm just going to find some type of resource to be able to give me the tools that I needed to make things easier for these families. So I did, it was about 2 weeks. I found a certification program, and the next thing you know, I was on a plane. I mean, it all happened that quickly. I was on a plane to Fort Lauderdale for the certification program. It was a two-day seminar. But the process, the certification took me a full year to complete. So it wasn't something that happened and just gave me a few initials next to my name. It prepared me for things that I never expected. I things I was not familiar with. I mean, I knew nothing about senior communities. Nothing, and most people don't. Whether they're realtors or not. I mean, you know, there are there are so many things that come along with packing up a home that someone has lived in for 30, 40, 50 years. And like you mentioned earlier, the treasures that they have, that they hold so dear to their heart, and the emotional aspect of having to move from a home and many times not wanting to.
Right, I can imagine. Well, I'm thinking about my mom when she had to leave her house with stairs. She had stairs going up to the bedrooms, and she had stairs going down to the basement. And it was, I mean, she didn't want to go, but we knew that she had to, especially when we started seeing bruises, you
Right.
know, and when they, like, how did you get that bruise? Oh, I bumped into the door. Oh, but then we were finding out she was falling.
Yes.
So, how do you, and it was difficult for us. And I know other people and their moms or dads ended up really, I'm not going to say hating them, but really, really starting to dislike their children because they feel that they've been
Right.
forced. So how do you work with the seniors that it's really hard for them? I mean, I guess you have to have special training to convince them.
And that's another thing that this training helped me with, because you are so right. Typically, they are pushing back. They are pushing back to with their children because the children, in many cases, do not have the patience, and they are forcing them. Think about even just something, that they really shouldn't be driving any longer, right? So, taking away that car. Well, now imagine taking away their home and telling them that they're going to have to, whether it be, not all my clients go to senior communities, but whether it be, they just need to be someplace closer to you, or
Mhm,
some of them do go to live with their children.
mhm,
There are many, many reasons that they would have to leave, but in most cases, it's because they're no longer safe to live at home, and the isolation, is terrible. So it does take a special person and a lot of training on the emotional aspect of making that move. I never ever, Dr. Jan, I never go into a senior's home or a client's home and say to them, we're going to list your house. We're going to sell your house. I have a conversation with them, and I'm an extremely patient person, and seniors are dear, dear, dear to my heart. They are my heart. So I love listening to their stories. I could sit there for hours and listen to their stories. We talk about their house. They talk about raising their children in their house and how important it is to them. My the thing that I always tell them is, that this is a structure. It's four walls, it's a structure. And all the memories we just sat and discussed, they're so beautiful. They're just beautiful memories. But you know what? They're here in your heart. They're in your heart. You're taking these memories wherever you go. You are not, they're not within this structure. This is a building, and all the memories that you made here are going with you. Not all the stuff can go with them, but we don't have that discussion at that point. So we just start out, and many times, it's not like a typical real estate transaction where you would go in and you would, you know, make suggestions on getting the house ready. I don't start out as a realtor when I meet with my senior clients. I don't start out as a realtor at all, so it is, like you said, it is an emotional journey. It's not, so there is very specific training that needs to happen. There are many, many realtors out there that have the title of senior real estate specialist, and I have that as well. But that did not prepare me in any way for, um, what it takes to really move. A senior, whether it be, just mom, just dad, or both. In some cases it's both because one or the other has become a caregiver for the other, you know.
Yeah. So, how long does it usually take? Once you start the process, tell me the shortest time and the longest time
Okay.
for the average,
Um,
you know.
yeah, there is no average because everyone is different, but this will just give you an idea of the type of work I do. um, is it can be depending on the situation. If it's a crisis situation, and absolutely mom cannot live there. I mean, because like you mentioned, falls, or, they're disoriented, or for whatever reason, it could be as quick as a few weeks. But in most cases, I'm meeting with clients and their families because I like to meet with the children as well, because I want them to understand, that um, how much they feel, as mom and dad, it's your mom and dad, but what they're feeling is they're losing all control.
Yeah.
And no one wants to do that. No one. So it can take anywhere from, 6 to, I've worked with some clients up to 2 years. So,
Wow. Wow.
yeah.
That's woo. That's really so. Now, when they meet you, Helen, um, this, a lot of seniors, especially when they get to the point where they really have to leave the house. When they meet you, don't they know that you, even though you don't present yourself as a realtor, don't they know that you are the person that's really going to assist them into leaving their home? I mean, so in other words, when they first meet you, do they view you with suspicion? You know, so do you have that when you go in sometimes?
Sometimes
Oh,
all of them realize that, of course, I'm there to, to guide them, and ultimately, some of them think, oh, she's just trying to take my house, or depending on how they've been prepared to meet me. But what I tell most of my clients, whether if I'm talking with, now many times it's the seniors calling me themselves, and
oh,
they're ready. Yeah, it's not always the children, or it's not always company. I work with a lot of companies too that are like guardianship companies and things where
okay,
they know people are no longer able to. So there's a mix, but it's not always the children that are calling me. But if it is the children that are calling me, I always tell them that just let them know that you have someone you would like them to meet.
okay,
Don't tell them that I'm a realtor necessarily, because that is the last hat that I wear.
okay,
Um, and so when I say that, Dr. Jan, the if you were to ask me, what 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 makes me different, than most realtors. There is it is that I do not come in as a realtor in most cases. I'm an educator, number one.
Okay.
Number two, I am an advocate always for my clients. And when it's time, and it could be as much as, like we said, 2 years down the road, but when it's time, I'm a realtor.
Okay.
So with that being said, it's important for clients to understand that, and not be afraid that everything's going to move much quicker than they want it to move. And if they're able to stay at home safely, it's always about safety with me. And if they are able to remain at home safely, and we can go through the process of um, decluttering, sorting, organizing, finding the right place that they can be comfortable with, and deciding how many things they can take with and what we're
Okay.
going to do with the rest.
Wow. Now that's hard.
It
That's
is.
hard because it's even hard, and you're not even planning to move. When we start talking about decluttering, so I can imagine how hard it is for seniors, and like you said, they brought their children up in the home, and when you're in the home for over 30 years, I can imagine. I mean, I look at stuff now, and I haven't been in my house, I think maybe 15 years, and it's like, good God Almighty,
It
what is
happened.
this stuff? And when you start decluttering, like they tell you, don't open the box, because if you haven't been in that box in 5 years, you don't know what's in it. But if you open it and you look at it, oh, that's right, this is what this is, and it's hard. So I can imagine it. So I'm going to ask you, is that the most difficult part of your process?
In most cases. It is definitely the most difficult part is letting go of the stuff. And because I mean, really, to them, it's treasures. I mean, they have treasures. Let's face it, our kids, and I do the same thing myself. So, I mean, I get it. My kids laugh at me, but it's like, what do you mean you don't want the Christmas china?
Right.
Mom, we are never going to use your Christmas china. But the kids love it because, I mean, mine's fun china, right? We all have our stuff special.
Yeah,
We
right.
all think that. But our kids don't want it. They really don't. Think about, I remember when you were going through all this with your mom, and it's like some of the things that you had to deal with. Well, this is every family. I mean, everyone thinks they're the only one. No, it's every family, and dealing with this stuff is one of the hardest things. If they're if they realize that you are there to help them, because obviously they can't take it all with them. And if it's stuff that's been in the basement for years that they have not even looked at, but when they have their mind, their physical ability to do things, you want to include them in everything you're doing
Hmm.
and make sure that they realize that you're there as their advocate to support them and to help them with the difficult conversations that they may have to have with their children as well. And number one, that they are in control.
Yeah.
They are always in control. And that's the hardest thing for the children to
Right.
realize you need to approach this at a different and this is where all the training comes in, Dr.
Okay.
Jan. And I know that, you're an educator. You continuously educate yourself. I know that in every aspect, anytime you can. It's like if you can learn something new, you're doing it, right?
I,
And I feel the same way. It's like we can't possibly have enough education, and to be able to, I want to be able to spread the word, educate more people on how how this process can be much easier for everyone involved, and that you as the children are able to spend time with your loved one and it not be a constant battle.
oh,
It shouldn't have to be. It shouldn't have to be.
it shouldn't have to be. We got Sandy Barney Ennis said, "It broke my heart to see my mom's face, and she was an extremely independent woman. When we moved her to our house, she never said a word, and the silence almost killed me. After the move, we showered her with attention, and she loved that. We gave her the privacy she needed, and we gave her choices. She grew to love being with us. The wonderful memories we have of those last years. They do. They lasted years. Yeah. Yeah.
Sandy, that warms my heart. And that's what I want to be able to give in my clients. I want to be able to give them that experience and help them find a way that they can have an experience like that. It's never easy for mom or dad to move, or especially if they think that they're going to be a burden to you.
Yeah.
That's very hard for them thinking about moving into your house, but you did everything right, Sandy. You gave her space. You let her feel independent. And, eventually she was able to come around and really enjoy those last years. And that's what I wish for all my clients, and all of you, and your loved ones. Unfortunately, it doesn't always end up that way, you
Right.
know.
So, Helen, I got to take a brief pause, a brief commercial. And I've got a couple of questions that came in that the viewers have sent. So don't go anywhere.
I'm right here.
Okay. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. There are a couple of questions that came in that I think we all want to know the answers to. So just a couple of brief commercials, and we'll be right back. We are back with Helen Morgan. So now this is a question that came in. Can you tell us about your best and worst experience during your career helping with seniors in housing?
Mm. Well, I have many best, believe it or not. Believe it
Okay.
or not. Um, the best one is kind of what Sandy just shared with us as far as when when mom, in typically they don't want to move. We know that. I mean, I think I've stressed that enough. Typically they do not want to move, but when they actually do, and they're settled into their new place, whether it be with a family member or a condo, a smaller condo, or a senior community, and they actually start living an active lifestyle with, social engagement and becoming more involved. And when because I always keep in contact with my clients, and I love going to have lunch with them and just being in contact with them. And when they say to me, I have never been so happy,
Oh,
and I've had many, many clients say that to me, I wish I had done this sooner. So that puts, I mean, that fills my heart.
sure.
That totally fills my heart to hear something like that. And the worst is anytime that I have a client that or a potential client, and I get a call. Maybe we've been talking about it for quite some time, and they've just been pushing back, and not wanting to do it. Um, we keep talking about it, we keep having the conversation, but then it ends up a crisis situation to where, they're no longer able to even move into an independent or assisted living. Now it's become, they have to go to a skilled nursing community, so where they need full-time care. So
Okay.
those are the worst situations. The absolute ideal situation is when we can start making a plan with the families, even if it's 2 years. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It's like, you know that the time is going to come where you can no longer live in a two-story home with, the washer and dryer in the basement. You know that the time is going to come. So, you know what? Don't think by making that phone call to me that it's going to be something that happens overnight, that it happens quickly, but at least let's make a plan to make sure that as long as you're there, you're safe, and we can start doing the decluttering and the organizing and donations, or, even if it's an estate sale. You can make a plan with an elder law attorney. There are so many resources that are out there that are available to you. And I will give you one example, and this is probably the one that's closest to my heart. Little did I know in 2014, when I was on this quest to find a better way, right? To be able to do this for my clients and not have sons calling me um, in situations like that. Little did I know that less than 1 year later, my own father, living 3.5 hours away from me, was diagnosed with dementia.
Oh,
And living on 35 acres of property in a rural area, a big house, a full pole barn full of stuff, and a lot of antique cars. I mean, a lot of things. So I can't even imagine, Dr. Jan, if I had not gone through this training, how I would have ever navigated that situation and been able to get my father near me, safe, and plus then have to sell, the house, everything, just to be able to pay for his care, which is very expensive when they have to go into. And he was a wanderer, so he couldn't stay at home with me for very long because he started like disappearing, and we can't
Okay.
have that with our seniors. So that is probably the one that broke my heart the most. Although, again, I'm very, very happy that I had the training that I did to be able to put me in contact with all the resources that I had to build in order to get the certification that I did. I had to actually go out and build a complete resource team of people that specializes in all of these
Okay.
situations. So I had people, I had the experts to make the phone call to that were actually, you know, perfect resources for me. And I can't imagine had I not had that. So, that was something that, and I can honestly say now that in 2014, I was thinking, um, I've been doing this a long time. It was almost 30 years then. And how much longer would I be doing this? Would I be in the real estate industry? And when I had that situation, ended up getting the certification, finding a way to help these families, I I can honestly say now, people say find something you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Well, at that time, I was already 58 years old.
Okay.
So I was thinking in a few years I wouldn't be doing this any longer. But I can honestly say now that if I didn't need a paycheck or a way to make money, that I would still do this. I found my calling, I found my purpose and my why, and it happened that way.
Wow. Wow. One of the users says this is a tremendous resource and blessings for families.
Well,
Yes.
thank you.
So, okay. So, what should we do now? Because, I mean, if we live, we're all going to come that way. Because I'm thinking about, I I don't live in a two-story, not really, but I do have stairs going down to the basement, to the family room.
Mhm.
And I start thinking, I'm staying here too. I just won't go downstairs. But
Right.
so, before we get to the point where that more than likely we have to give up where we are living if we're living in homes that really we just really can't, manage anymore physically or whatever. What should we be doing now?
Creating a plan.
Okay.
Really creating a plan. And, that can be something as simple as sitting, eh, again, if you call me tomorrow, I am not coming to your house to sell your house. I don't think of it that way. And I have never really, I mean, as many years as I've been doing this, I've never thought of my business as a sales position. And everyone laughs at me when I say that there because they're like, Helen, come on, you are a real estate broker. Of course you're a salesperson. Well, no, I'm not. I don't feel that I've ever sold a thing in my life. And I've been doing this for over 30 years. So it's a matter of making a plan, having a plan so that, okay, maybe it is 2 years down the line. Maybe you're thinking 5 years down the line. But what do we need to do? What do we need to start doing now to make it easier when that time comes? And in most cases, it is decluttering, organizing, simplifying your lifestyle. Or many of my clients don't move, believe it or not. I don't always sell their house. We bring in aging in place specialist that will do home modifications so that they can stay in their home. So it's not always a move. It's just part of the resource team that I've built. I mean, my husband has some mobility issues, and we need things done. That we definitely bring in whatever resources needed. Maybe you can't lift your leg over that shower anymore or over that tub anymore. Or maybe, like you said, going up and down the stairs. Some people, they're able to get by okay with a chairlift. So,
Okay.
I mean, but the thing is, you don't know that until you actually sit down and think about all the possibilities. What are your options? So you need an assessment to be able to know going forward exactly what it would take, to stay in the home or make more sense to move, so that's what it's about. And that's what I come back to when I say, I become an advocate for my clients. It's not always about just selling the home.
Okay. So it's just really getting prepared.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because I was going to ask you, when you say make a plan, I can understand the decluttering.
Yes.
Definitely. I just need to do that anyway. Uh,
Mhm.
but I guess if you are just really, really want to stay in your home, uh, look for resources now and have that in your plan. So that, yeah, like you said, modifications or,
Start doing it now.
yeah.
Start doing it now. Yeah, I have a friend that's their business, the home modifications. And this is a funny thing that she says. She's only not even, I think she might be 50 at the most. I mean, late 40s, early 50s. And her, she said, I have had grab bars in my shower, she said, since I was in my early 40s, because let me tell you, I'm not going down without a fight.
Okay.
So, you don't have to feel bad about doing that, but, be prepared. If you think maybe a chair lift would be good, if you have a washer and dryer that's in the basement, you need to figure out a way, okay, let's get someone over to be able to get it on the main floor, right? You
Hmm.
know, um, if your bedrooms are all upstairs and you still want to stay, well, then you need, a stair lift. There's many, many options. So selling the home isn't the only option.
Okay.
This is the reason I did what I did to be able to. Most real estate brokers, are going to the home to sell the home. I'm not.
And
That's not me.
that's what makes you unique. That's what makes you unique. And Brenda Tucker Jeffrey says, "Thank you for your service, Helen. I didn't know about your service until after I had to do it all by myself. I highly recommend you for those that may be in need of your services." Most
Thank
definitely.
you, Brenda.
And if people want to contact you, let me find it here. I think this is you. Is this where they can contact you?
That is the best way to reach me. I do have a website, but this is my cell number, and I will always return your call. If you leave me a message and I am not available, I will always get right back to you.
Okay, I was trying to do something here to put your website in, but for some reason my computer won't let me go down that far. But wait, I got to put your website in here. So I'm going to delete something and see if I can. It still won't let me. You know, well, we talked
Yes,
about technology before.
yes, we did. We were having a little technical, a little technical
Okay,
difficulties
so
beginning.
brief. I'm going to keep this up there. So we got about 10 minutes. So
Okay.
you are the president of International Association of Women, the
Yes.
Orland Park chapter. Tell us about the International Association of Women. I'm going to keep your number there just so people can either take a screenshot or go get a pen or something. So
Okay.
tell us about the
And
International Association
yeah.
of Women.
The easy thing, the website is www.resource55.com. So
Okay.
it's simple. And it's, it's a work in I mean, it's being updated as we speak, but there are some information, but this really is the best way to reach me, Dr. Jan. And as
Okay.
far as the
Okay.
International Association of Professional Women, I absolutely love, whether I was the president or not, it wouldn't matter. I would still be a part of this group. I have been the president for probably the longest standing president there so far with this organization, only because I live in the south suburbs. And as you know, I mean, you do as well. And the Chicagoland area is a very big area. So I was attending, when I first joined the organization, I was attending meetings in Chicago, Schaumburg, Naperville. They had a Naperville chapter at that time. So that was quite a travel for me. When they approached me about launching a chapter in the south suburbs, I just said yes. Funny story about that is that I had the biggest fear it ever, and my entire life I had this fear of speaking in front of people. I didn't do that. Well, when I said yes because there was such a need for an organization like this to be in the south suburbs. And I was thinking of everyone else. And never was I thinking, Helen, you are going to have to get up in front of people and speak. So it was always kind of funny to me that I just said yes. And I think we do that sometimes when we see there's such a great need for something. And the members, in the south suburbs, most of them were working full-time jobs. So to travel to the city or to Naperville or to Schaumburg for a meeting, they couldn't make it in most cases. So we have an excellent group of women. This is probably one of the most supportive organizations I have, and believe me, over the years, I've had belonged to many, many networking organizations. This is much more than a networking organization. I mean, the programs that we have, I mean, it's now an international, women's organization. So, I mean, you just meet people from all over the world, and uh, the programs, the leadership programs that they offer, I mean, there's just no way to describe everything that you could possibly get involved with. The mentorship programs they have. Um, it's an honor and a pleasure to be the president of the Orland Park chapter for sure.
Well, I put the website on. At least I did have that one, and so, ladies, any of you who want to join, you can go there. But you got to make sure that you join the Orland Park chapter. Oh, wait a minute. There's something else here that Sandy said that just came through. Let me see if I can get it up there, if it will replace everything. Okay, she says, I was warned to downsize from my children. As a
Mm.
hobby years ago, I would replicate antique dolls from France and Germany and doll houses. Many hours go into making their clothing, shoes, umbrella, purses, etc. I have dolls everywhere in showcases. My children would warn me that when I close my eyes for the last time, I better have a will with names of students and addresses to tell where their new home would be because they would give it to charity. And okay, Sandy, you have about 10 years ago, my oldest went to that's all we got is a D. So I don't know what that is.
Uh-oh.
So anyway, Sandy, you would have to put
Mm.
the rest of it on there because the rest of it didn't come. But if she does, I'll put it on there. But Helen, uh, what I'm just going to ditto what Brenda said, that and that what another Facebook user said, that this is a tremendous resource and blessing for families and service for families, because I don't think most of us knew that there was that resource, that there was a person like you, that we could go to. This is happening because, like Brenda said, she had to do it all by herself, and I had to do it all by myself, and didn't know that there was a resource out there like that. And so that's wonderful. You are really doing a service, and I mean, we all going to go there sooner or later. Either we're going to
Yes,
go ourselves, or we're going to have to do it for a loved one. So I
yes.
really want to thank you for that. I really want to
Well,
thank you.
thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to spread the awareness, and unfortunately, Dr. Jan, there's not enough people um, looking out for our seniors and taking care of things like this. There's only 300 of us in the country that do what I
Wow.
do. Yeah,
Okay. All
yeah.
righty. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show as my guest. I really really appreciate you gave us all some valuable information. And so I'm going to start decluttering. I got so much junk. Wait a minute. And
Me,
you told me,
me
wait,
too.
I just have a son, and I know he doesn't want my crystal.
No. And it doesn't matter, daughter or son, they don't want it. They don't.
So thank you so much, Helen. So you have a beautiful, blessed rest of your evening, and stay warm.
Yes, you do the same and have a happy Thanksgiving. And thank you so
And you
much for
too.
giving me the opportunity.
And thank you, Helen. Bye bye.
Bye.
That is, well, the information that we got, that's something that, oh my goodness, that we all should know about and think about. And most of my audience are midlife women or seniors. And Sandy, you're going to have to do something with those dolls, dear. Okay. So, what I do want to share with you is that on November 21st, before I can find it, before Thanksgiving, 6 p.m. Where is it? 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. I am doing a free webinar. And as you can see, the webinar is entitled The Secrets to Enjoying the Holidays Without Fighting with Your Relatives. Now, if you would like to enjoy the holidays with your family, keep the family gathering friendly and conflict free, learn what to do when you are the host, learn what to do when you are the guest. And sometimes as host and hostesses, we might have some a relative that likes to cause drama. But this is a free webinar, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you can take a screenshot of this, if you're on your computers, ladies who are not techie, and I found this out myself, you just go to where it says print screen on your keyboard, and that'll take a screenshot. That is the link that you can go to. Or if you need me to send you the link directly so you can click on it, just email me at jan49125@gmail.com. I am going to give you some tools and some tips and give you the secrets to enjoying the holidays without fighting with your relatives. I told someone about this and they said, oh, you mean so we won't fight about uh, that last piece of turkey? And I said, if that's, yeah, maybe. So anyway, that's that. And I hope that I will see you all. Have a beautiful, beautiful, blessed Thanksgiving. Don't eat too much. Since it is Thanksgiving, I will be doing an encore, and Jen4now125 at gmail.com. If you have seen a particular show that you really would like to see again, a guest that you would like to hear from again, let me know, and that will be the encore. After that, 2 weeks from now, December 3rd, will be my next show, and that will be my birthday show because my birthday is December 5th. And it's going to be a special show because, as you know, last year I became an octogenarian. So I'll be an octogenarian plus one. So I hope to see all of you all on December 3rd. Have a beautiful, blessed Thanksgiving holiday. Don't eat too much turkey. Don't eat too much, period. I'm not going to promise that. But anyway, so I shall see all of you again in 2 weeks. Have a beautiful, blessed rest of your day. All righty. Bye bye.